Well, indeed, I will. But in the meantime, I need to say that, well, Dr. Tony Ofoyeton, the Director General, Institute of International Institute of Professional Security, is now in the studio. Sorry about that, Dr. Ofoyeton. Good morning to you, and indeed compliments of the season.
Yes, compliment, and
yes.
Of course, good morning, Nigerians.
Indeed, and you've just been listening to Dr. Tony Abdullahi Shinkafi, who is policy analyst, and you heard the you heard some of it. This we had the impression that this is from the president. It's a presidential order. Marching orders don't come from anybody else. You can't give marching orders.
Anyway, we've had marching orders given severally at different occasions by ministers and other government functionaries. Yes. But I think the CNC had invoked its power as the CNC to give the marching order, as it were. Basically because of this avalanche and torrential security challenges that seems not to be abating. Hopefully we want to believe that with this marching order, because one of the things I have personally advocated is the political will. And I'm sure, Egmo, you would have heard me severally.
We've both been on the political will to do the needful. Will.
So, but what I would say is that there's a difference between marching order and marching order with punitive measure in the event of any defect. So I think that Mr. President should not make those that are at that executory level to understand that, they become accountable. With that, I can assure you that there will be, miraculous results. That is one part of it.
Indeed.
Now, the other part of it is the strategic approach of these agencies. Now, if you ask me, I will tell you that one of the things I would suggest that they should look at is, first of all, downplay the issue of publicity in operations. That is very germane. Identify those that are the key architects of terrorism in the country, and those that needed to be quietly removed, remove them quietly. You don't need the ovation of the people. You don't need the clapping of the people. Those that are the sponsors, those that are actually the main architect. First of all, it's like a root thing. You go straight to the root. You have been given the marching order to remove this thing. So what do? You want to uproot it. And if you want to uproot it, you don't uproot any tree by cutting. If you do that, of course, you and I know that it's an exercise in futility. So if you want to truly uproot terrorism in this country, there are different approaches and different angles towards it. First of all, you have different cell groups. Have you been able to identify all the cell groups across the country? That's one. Secondly, there's always a chain of central command and central affinity. Have you been able to identify that central chain and central affinity? Now, who are now the protagonists of those that are at that level? Now, one by each, without any noise, without the seeking of public ovation, remove those that ought to be removed, arrest those that ought to be arrested, apprehend those that ought to be apprehended. Now, DSS has a lot of work to do. Custom. It is not just to say that we are seizing goods and all those stuff. Like custom and immigration must play their role here now, because the marching order, it may not succeed if you don't have some of these agencies actively involved. Immigration, of course, has its own role. Those ingress and egress into the country, to what extent have you been able to, how would I put it now, be able to curtail the excesses of the ingress and egress of immigrants, illegal immigrants especially? It's been identified that we have more than 2,000 illegal routes in this country. Now, if that has been identified, to what extent is the immigration working with the custom as it were now, being able to now do what? Seal up all these illegal routes and as much as they can.
Well, as much as they can. No, because oftentimes we've discussed this, and it has been said that the borders of Nigeria simply cannot be policed in that way.
There are different approaches. They know that when it comes to border security, it's not just a man, like a man guarding thing. Technology can be ensured. That is the easiest, the cheapest, and the most effective way to do all these things.
Oh, well, if that is the case, then the military has their work cut out for them, and they are not inexperienced.
The military will do its part, but I can tell you that the military, what is the numerical strength of the military if you don't have the input of other sister agencies?
Okay, because the point that, has been made by Dr. Shinkafi is that the military has its hands full. It has its hands full. Now you're putting this on, that this is another order that you are putting on it again. I think Dr. Shinkafi's fear, am I right, Dr. Shinkafi, is that they might not actually be able, well, I don't know, the president must know that they are able, because you don't give an order that cannot be executed.
Yeah.
But the impression is that they might not be able to achieve because their hands are already full. Is that your worry?
No, my great worry, you know, the Minister of Defense, Abakar Badaru, saying that there's an intensive military onslaught against the bandit and they are on the run.
Yes,
and they are running from the run to the first.
Yes.
But I will tell you authoritatively that it is not true, because I come from Shinkafi, and the operational base of Bello Turji is in Shinkafi, in Parque Paris, and Parque Forest. And Turji is still more than 200 people are under captivity from Shinkafi town and its environs. And he has been imposing levies to rural communities. In Birnin Yero, they have paid 23 million ransom and collected their captives 2 days ago. And now again, Bello Turji enforced 30 million to Birnin Yero in Shinkafi community. Maberea military camp was attacked. Badara military camp was attacked. And many military formations are under threat of Turji. And he was kidnapping people.
Yeah.
And he has maintained
sorry to interrupt.
To turn Shinkafi to
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Shinkafi. I hear what you've just said.